What is Black feminism, right? Is it just some basic movement that just started back in the 60s or 70s? Has it been around long enough? Or is it just some kind of colorized mainstream feminist movement? And that's what I just wanted to kind of explain here. Where Black feminism, at least according to Wikipedia, is just a school of thought, right? And that states that sexism, class oppression, gender identity, and racism are inextricably bound together. And I think that is a very good definition. So, shout out to Wikipedia for that. It's just that, and of course, it is some social and cultural inequalities that are addressed during a woman's movement. But Wikipedia left one thing out, and that is Black women, right? And so the Black feminist philosophy or Black womanism or Black feminism, however you want to put it, it primarily focuses on the concerns of Black women and Black women everywhere, here, across the Atlantic, in South America, everywhere. It really aims at uncovering and giving an understanding of the problems facing Black women, along with identifying necessary policy changes and some liberation strategies to help advance Black women. It also acknowledges the very real and very unique struggles of Black women. So it sets out to like include works that highlight the ways that Black women's thought just brings about different philosophical questions and issues, while it is an unmistakable celebration and appreciation of the work and lives of Black women across African diasporic context. And then it's not new, right? It's it took a little charge in maybe the 1960s or something like that, but it's definitely not new. Back in ancient Egypt, for example, 1500 BC, Hatshepsut ruled alongside, she was the queen of Egypt, and she ruled alongside her stepson, King Tutmos III. And when that was not good enough for her just to be the queen of Egypt, she appointed herself as Pharaoh, and she actually had to defend this move quite often and prove herself worthy. And she did that by erecting large ancient statues that are here today. Even the Luxor or the ancient Deir Abari is part of her architect, right? We know Queen Nefertiti. She changed the whole entire religious game for the Egyptians, where they were a polytheist kind of civilization. She changed them into a one God kind of civilization. We have other stories, right? We've got Harriet Tubman saving the hundreds of slaves, right? And there is some water cooler discussion that Harriet might have even been a lesbian, even though she was married. They never had any children. And he never appreciated the fact that she wanted to go back and save the slaves. He was not on board with that. And so she had to basically do that on her own with the help of some minor abolitionist groups, right? We got Ida B. Wells and her pamphlets describing the horrors that were faced in the South by Black people. She was one of the co-founders of the NAACP, yet her name was removed or not even listed in the founders list. And then we have Mamie Till, right, who did the most radical, revolutionary thing that the media had seen amongst that time, which was the open casket of her baby that allowed the world to see what racism in the South truly looks like and how it affects even just young kids. So historically, we have all these accounts and these narratives and tales of Black women, Black activism, Black nationalism, but when the movers and shakers of the activism, of the nationalism, when they are female, that is considered Black feminism, right? So it doesn't matter if it's BC or AD, it doesn't matter. That is Black feminism. And so it's not the mainstream feminism, right? Because mainstream feminism seeks to gain like the highest level of patriarchy, right? That might be their end goal. And then only for themselves to become the oppressors, right? They become the elitists, right? Where Black feminism seeks to destroy not rewrite, not reclassify, but really destroy those political and economic oppressive systems of capitalism and patriarchy and even imperialism, right? And it is simply an inclusion into the world. We're asking the world to evaluate Black women. So, in evaluating Black women, we ask that we too be acknowledged. Currently, there's a boycott in Brunei and against the Sultan of Brunei and his businesses and his hotels due to his anti-gay and anti-lesbian laws and his tyrannical anti-women regulations and rules. He's even brought back the archaic punishment of public stonings, right? And it is a mainstream boycott against him. These folks on Wall Street are boycotting him. Even J.P. Morgan, the corporation, the financial business, the Financial Investment Corporation, is also boycotting him, which J.P. Morgan still to this day practices giving incentives or incentivizing and to continue that predatory lending practice that they practice against marginalized and disenfranchised people, those same predatory lending practices that caused the Great Recession of 2008, right? So they are still doing that. Hardest hit was the Black community. And inside of that Black community, Black women were hit the hardest. Why? Because 72% of Black women are unwed mothers. 62% of those unwed mothers are the heads of their households. And so in their attempts to purchase the American dream, they got swindled, right? JP Morgan was a part of that. But anyway, they're boycotting Brunei or the Sultan of Brunei. But I wonder what would happen if, or what would the impact be if celebrities who are boycotting, like Ellen DeGeneres, right, or George Clooney, if they were to use their celebrity status and demonstrate against the U.S. judicial system, right, the unfair treatment and unfair sentencing of Blacks, or just promote more humane conditions inside of the prisons. Black female arrests have risen over 800% in the last 30 years, and yet they still cannot afford feminine hygiene products, right? And so we're not asking you to negate those things, those wrongs that are going on in the world. We're saying evaluate us and include us too. And so that's all Black feminism is. It's just saying like, yo, listen, there are countless studies done, one study in particular from Harvard University, where they asked the physician's assistants, directors, and even those doctors and those who are in the medical field, those who are doing their residency, about their disparity treatment against Black female patients. And they all concurred that they do, in fact, have that discrepancy between Black female patients and the rest of their patients for a number of reasons. But whatever the reasons are, it doesn't matter. What we're saying is don't do this anymore. Even Black women, where mainstream feminism fights for equal pay, right? White women make about 75% of the same dollar that white men make, right? Well, Black women only make 63% of that. And sure enough, mainstream feminism may never say, hey, why don't we get the 63% up to 75%, and then we can all rally for the 100%. We recognize that, and we're saying that we have our own movement. This is our own movement. We don't want to get to the 75%, we want to get to the 100% too, but we're saying that we have to fight for ourselves. And so the argument here is that Black feminism is simply another way, another divisive tool that separates Black women from the Black man or from the Black community, right? And that's not at all what it is. It's not a male bashing. It's not male hating. Again, it's just inclusivity, right? One of the things that we don't ever discuss is the fact that Rosa Parks wanted to boycott the bus industry as a way to get as a way for mainstream media to understand the rapes that were occurring in the Black neighborhoods against Black women. And she was told to wait, right? We are going to do this first for the whole entire Black community, and then we'll get to the Black women, and then we'll get to the rapes. And it never came, right? So we know that that Black women have always stood beside Black men. We know that the Black Lives Matter movement was started by 3 Black women, and we know that constantly, again, these narratives, these tales that we have where Black women stand by Black men, feminism does not separate that. Feminism includes the men. Like, you have an invitation. Stand with us in the next police shooting. Stand with us when it comes time for equal treatment in the healthcare industry. Stand with us when it comes to equal pay. So it's an invitation for Black men to get on board to say to the world, we will no longer aggressively sexualize or hypersexualize our Black women, right? So it's not a separation, but it is an inclusion. So anyway, I hope this helps. I feel like I've talked enough. I hope this helps, and I hope I've covered everything. Yes, good. Thank you.